Honestly, I don't think so. This game, I mean, IPs can do whatever they want. It's theirs. They can make whatever game, show, movie, whatever. But I just feel like Metal Slug doesn't work on this kind of thing. Metal Slug is fast-paced, bullet hell, run and gun, side-scroller type thing, and then they took it and they turned it into XCOM turn-based slow type game. I don't even know what the type of genre XCOM games are, so I just call them XCOM games. But not that those kinds of games are bad, because I've played Gears Tactics, I've played a little bit of XCOM. They're cool, they're fun, but they are on the slower side. And I'm not the biggest fan, but I still had fun with those. But something about the Metal Slug one, I don't know, it felt off. It didn't feel like it was a bad game, like it was put together weird or it was like wonky or anything. It just didn't feel like it fit, and I felt like they were trying to do something different with the series, because if you do want to stand out, you got to do something different. I don't know. I feel like it didn't work. So every time you start the game, there's a little cutscene. You got a couple of characters talking with each other, and like it seemed like it was gonna be a fun thing, because the thing about this game, they're treating it like a roguelike XCOM game, because you have your upgrades and loadouts and stuff, and there's also different characters. Well, these aren't characters, but you have guns that you can buy mods and upgrades for that you find along your run, and your characters level up as you go. But they also have loadouts. I only have two. I don't have too many because I did beat the campaign, or like I beat a run, but the game just didn't feel all that great. So there's all these characters you can unlock this dude, but they have different like play styles, they have different weapons and other stuff, and like this guy's a knife guy, but you can also build them differently. The other thing too is you get your graphics and stuff and the feel of Metal Slug, but the game itself doesn't feel like you're playing Metal Slug. Again, you go super fast paced and then you slow it way down to play XCOM. So this is the final area, which you need to beat one of the other areas and then you can unlock this. But you do little mini levels of XCOM type fighting, and then so you can go through and you can choose. You only have access to do 3 things, which I felt was a little weird. I guess it makes sense because you know you don't want to spend all your time here, but I feel like if you're gonna build up XP and other upgrades, and 3 missions isn't really all that much. But you can choose where you want to go. It'll tell you what you can do, because there's a main objective and then a secondary. The thing about this game is, if this was just a straight sort of XCOM type thing, then I feel like it wouldn't be as much of a problem, because when I played, I think it was Gears Tactics, that game and XCOM, is that when I was playing it, there was like cover and stuff, and here you have cover too, but it only works 2 ways and it works here. But another thing about this game, which here I should show you actually, in order to get like armor, they're trying to use their traditional run and gun type thing, so you have to run across the map in order to get more armor, because if you move here, you get a +0, this light green, and here you get +1 in the shield, and then here you get +2, and I think it goes up to +3. And if you land on here, it gives you an extra 2 shield. But you're supposed to run far, which I guess could be an interesting tactic, but sometimes you're blocked off by the units. Or also, like, you don't have a melee build. Like, it doesn't really matter if you don't have melee, you can just still shoot them if you're right next to them. But the thing is, if they have melee, they tend to do more damage, and so you're supposed to run around and do stuff, but you're not always able to. And also, it's probably just me being bad, but I feel like there's way too many enemies on the board, because we killed 1, but there's 8 people who all get a turn, and if they really wanted to, like, I shouldn't have ran up here. They can all circle and like basically kill her in like a turn or 2. And the other games that I've played that are sort of like this, I've never seen this many enemies. It is hard. They are hard. They're challenging. They're meant to be challenging. But even on the basic difficulty, I feel like there's a lot of stuff happening all at once. I can only imagine the harder difficulties. But that's kind of the gameplay. It's, again, just turn-based. You move and you do an action. XCOM basics, and then with that run and gun extra armor sort of mechanic, which I think is a little weird. And then aside from that, I was hoping for at least some sort of story, because while the story is never that deep, with Metal Slug, you start in a certain area, you have a mission, and you start moving around and do stuff, and then you progress. It's usually like 4 or 5 levels, and you get to see like who the enemy is and where you're supposed to go, and who you're fighting and stuff. And then eventually you get to the point where you kill the enemy, and then like there's a resolution, they die, and then, you know, game over. You guys win basically. And it's kinda like that here, because you get to the end, there's a big boss. They have, I mean, there's always like big robots and tanks and whatever in these types of games, Metal Slug. But here, it's super anticlimactic. You go through the whole campaign, I guess, or just like this little run. There's no sort of ending, and maybe I gotta play through every single character or something, possibly, but the game's just not fun enough for me to want to do that. And just overall, like, this game, there's substance in the game, but it doesn't feel like there's much going on. It doesn't feel substantial. It kind of feels just there, and I don't like the direction that they went with this game. And so while I definitely did not play this as well as I could have, the fact that you can die that easily and that fast on the first missions, it's a little weird. Victory! And if I'm being honest, that's kind of all there is to say, because, you know, you win and you get more upgrades and you get coins and XP and whatever, but their levels reset every single run, so that's another thing that doesn't feel like substantial. And then that's pretty much it. It's the same level, the same type of play over and over again. Every single, like, even the boss felt the same. It's just more enemies. Nothing really changed. Kill targets. This is kill targets. It's different maps. Same exact thing. Even if you're doing a different type of mission, this game feels so weird because I thought there was gonna be a lot going on and a lot more stuff to do, but I don't know, I'm not getting any of it. I got bored after 3 hours, even though, you know, I was picking up the game. I beat the final boss, I unlocked the character, and I would say that this game would probably be catered towards people who play XCOM and stuff, but the fact that they have this mechanic that I was talking about earlier, I feel like I've never had this type of mechanic before. Usually you want to stay behind cover, stay safe, move when you need to, and then use that as an advantage. But here you're sort of forced to move every single turn, or else you don't get this armor, and then you're just taking crazy damage for no reason. And so that's pretty much it. But let's see, who would I recommend this to? I guess XCOM players, but again, I don't think they'd enjoy the same thing. It is still the turn-based, it's still a grid. It's a, you know, your team rotation and enemy team rotation, and it's all there for XCOM, but the change in mechanics, I don't know if that community would enjoy it, because I'm not the biggest fan. I haven't played all the games, but from what I have played, none of them play like this, so I feel like something is a little off compared to those games. And that's basically it. I don't think I'm gonna come back for it. I didn't pay for this game, thankfully. It's on Game Pass if you do want to give it a try, but it retails for $25, which I'm glad I didn't pay, because I would have refunded it. I don't know. I think it's another also very niche community. It's for XCOM community, but I don't recommend this game. I like Metal Slug. I like the original Metal Slugs. This one, not so much. But let me know what you think about it. But I'll see you guys all on the next video.